You're listening to The Morning Show, streamed by clicking the WHOW live icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in this segment of the morning show is Joey Long, director of the DeWitt County Museum. Hi, Joey. How are you today?
I'm great, Seth. Good morning to you.
Thanks for coming on. It's always good to have you. And Joey, I just enjoy the energy and the passion that you bring to our show each and every time that you're on, and just your enthusiasm for local history. We're going to dive into some of that here for this morning. It's a busy season at the museum. We've got the Prairie Flyers Aviation exhibit coming up. I know we're going to be joined by you and your friends that have been putting that together in studio next week. So we'll maybe postpone our conversation on that until then. In the meantime, Joey, with Memorial Day right around the corner, that kind of kicks off the busy season for the museum. I guess I didn't realize that. Tell us about the summer season and attendance and all those things.
Yeah, so Memorial Day, everyone sees that pretty much as the kickoff for the summer season. And at the museum, it's no different. And we generally see that, from Memorial Day on, the attendance certainly rises. And, we draw in a lot more people who are, just out on their summer travel adventures and maybe see the sign and on a whim end up, coming into the museum. People who chose the museum as their destination for that day. That's why they are in town, is to visit the museum. And also, sometimes, it's a nice thing to take a look at what's in your own backyard. So a lot of locals too. So people from all over, from near and far, and definitely at Memorial Day weekend and beyond, we see those attendance numbers rising.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to, the attendance and the trends in those attendance, Joey, when it's locals that are coming out, those folks in DeWitt County, maybe the outlining areas of the rural portions of central Illinois, are they first-time visitors? Are they there to see something maybe specific? Like we'll talk about the aviation exhibit next week. Are they there for those things? Like what are they turning out for?
I can't say it's just one thing. So I have people that come in local, what we would consider from the local area, and they will say, I've lived here for 25 years and I've never visited a museum. So I'm glad to be here today. I have people who come every year about the same time. It's just, kind of a tradition for them. And yes, Seth, I have people that will come for one specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that once the aviation exhibit opens, that will have a lot of people come in just to see that. But, I've had people come in to visit their great-great-grandmother's stove. I've had people come in to visit their great-great-great-grandmother's bed. So all reasons for coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a neat thing.
For sure. I'm curious, Joey, what do you anticipate this year? Because if I remember right, last year, there were some restrictions due to COVID still in place at the museum. And I don't know what those are this year. You can outline that for us if you'd like. But, I wonder if you anticipate a spike in attendance with maybe some of these things starting to ease and go away. What do you anticipate there?
I expect to see something similar to last year, only better. Last year, when we first opened, there were a lot of people that came in. They had said, that they had intended for years to come to the museum,
Mm-hmm.
but had just never done it. And I think that period of time when the world just shut down, people actually had time to, think about, what would I really want to do with my time once things open back up? Where would I really like to go? What do I really want to see? What have I put off and now it's time to just go and do it?
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of people in who made comments like that. And then we also were drawing in a lot of people from the bigger cities, Indianapolis, Chicago, St. Louis, who were commenting, things are open up now, but I'm just not really comfortable with the COVID risk still being out there in the world, uncomfortable with maybe visiting a larger, more crowded museum. So they were comfortable with us.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the COVID restrictions this year, we don't have any in place. Not at this point in time. So if someone, wants to wear a mask, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. If they want their guide to wear a mask, we have no problem with that. We will put the mask on.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just being respectful, of everyone, and want to make it so that anyone who visits can come and feel comfortable and enjoy the experience.
Sure.
But I think that, we're in a better place now than we were last year at this point. And so I expect many more to be coming to visit the museum for the first time, because they've had time to think about, where do I want to go?
Mm-hmm.
What would I like to see?
Sure.
And they'll be walking through the door.
Yep. Very good. Well, Joey, as it relates again, Joey Long is the director of the DeWitt County Museum, our guest on the phone for this morning. Just remind us what some of the exciting things happening at the museum are. Like I said, we know the aviation exhibit is coming here in a few weeks, but what else can they see? What else is of noteworthy? What else is noteworthy, I guess, from your perspective, that's in the museum right now?
Well, I think that one of the things that would be noteworthy as far as things that are coming up, tomorrow actually kicks off the Blue Star Museum program. And the C.H. Moore Homestead DeWitt County Museum is very proud to be a Blue Star museum. We have done this for several years, and it begins on Armed Forces Day, which would be tomorrow, and continues through Labor Day. And through this program, active military men and women and their families are offered free museum and special exhibit admission. So the project is a collaboration, actually, among the National Endowment for the Arts, Blue Star families, the Department of Defense, and then all of these participating museums from all across America. So that free admission is available to those who are currently serving in the United States military, that being, like Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, as well as members of the reserves and National Guard. And so I would encourage people to take advantage of that. It's just our way of thanking these people for their service to the country. And it's just a really nice thing to be a part of. And we're very happy to be included in that program. We also, in July, will have the Quilt Show coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So that will run the entire month of July. Normally it's in June, but we kind of flip-flop this year since we have the aviation exhibit going on in June. And in the past, the Quilt Show has always been quilts that are loaned to the museum, and then we fill in here and there with quilts from the actual museum collection.
Mm-hmm.
This year, we're going to just go with quilts from the museum collection. We have more than enough to make a fantastic show. And I'm happy about that because really, we have some fantastic quilts. However, they don't always see the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
And so this will be a nice opportunity to bring those out. Oh, and we actually, you asked about what might be interesting to see if you come this summer. We actually were just given a quilt. The saying, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you shouldn't judge a quilt by its beauty. But this quilt is a very humble, plain-looking quilt. It was made from scraps taken from military uniforms from World War I and World War II. And then it actually looks like there may be perhaps, some wool pieces, from men's suits, very early wool suits. And it's a very plain pattern, very drab in color, obviously, since I'm telling you, what fabrics were used. But this quilt has a wonderful story. The quilt was gifted to us by a lady who had had it for many years.
Mm-hmm.
And this quilt has never been sold, if you use quote marks around sold. It has for decades been passed on from person to person when a person falls on a hard time, maybe they could use a little extra money, say $50 or something, but maybe their pride wouldn't let them take a gift of $50. Maybe they wouldn't be able to pay back a loan of $50 to a friend. But throughout the years, this quilt has been exchanged, not sold, exchanged for $50 from person to person when a person fell on hard times and needed a little help, and that helping person would exchange a little bit of money for the quilt. And for years, it has passed on from hand to hand to hand as one person helping another person through a difficult time.
Very interesting, Joey. When it comes to the quilt show, you mentioned that a lot of the quilts get brought out from the collection in the museum. Folks bring out their quilts as well. And it's, one of those things I remember about the quilt show. It's been a few years since we've talked about this, but, one thing I remember about the quilt show is that you display it in the house, perhaps how it would have been displayed, during C.H. Moore's time in the home. Is that correct?
It is, but then we also go beyond that because we have so many quilts. It's usually, I'd say between 45 and 60 quilts that are on display. So some of those quilts are laid out, on the bed as they would have been during Mr. Moore's time. But then the ladies also drape them from the doors. They drape them from the balcony in the library. They're hung over the bookcases in the library. The museum is the perfect stage to display all of these things. The museum just turns into an art gallery for a month, and it's an amazing thing to see. Very unique, and a lot of people who come to our quilt show and also go to lots of other quilt shows will remark, I've never seen a quilt show staged like this. I've never seen them displayed like this, but it really works.
Very good. Well, Joey, again, remind us the quilt show, when it gets started, how long it lasts.
It will go throughout the month of July. So beginning July 1st, and then it runs through the entire month. So I encourage people to come out and take a look. It's never the same show twice. And it's just a really, really fun thing to be doing at the museum. And, you don't have to be a quilter to enjoy it.
Joey, let's take a time out. How do folks learn more about the museum and all the happenings?
They can visit our website. That's www.chmoorehomestead.org. They can follow our Facebook page. We actually have 3 Facebook pages, one for the DeWitt County Museum, one for the Prairie Flyers exhibit, and one for the Apple and Pork Festival. Or they're welcome to stop by the museum anytime, or give us a call at 217-935-6066.
You're just everywhere, Joey. That's Joey Long, director of the DeWitt County Museum, our guest on the phone. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. More to come on WHOW.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Clinton High School will present diplomas to their graduating seniors during their traditional graduation ceremony at the high school gym on Sunday, May 22nd at 2 p.m. WHOW's many platforms, on air at 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com. on the WHOW mobile app, and Amazon Alexa will broadcast this special event live. Tune in and listen as the names of this year's Clinton High School graduating seniors are read and their diplomas are given out. Brought to you by Encore Thrift Store, located at 10840 Route 10 East in Clinton, serving people with developmental disabilities. We're worth the trip. And Liberty Village, located at 1 Park Lane West in Clinton. Bounce back, rehab, recover, and return home.
Using the latest technology for positive patient outcomes. That's the goal when you're treated in the ER at the Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton. CEO Paul Scarron here to let you know we've invested in an upgraded CT machine adjacent to our ER. It enables our ER doctors to detect and diagnose what's wrong with a patient clearer and faster than ever. Bigger hospitals have it, and Warner Hospital's got it. Just another way Warner Hospital and Health Services in Clinton using the latest technology for positive patient outcomes. And there's more to come.
You're listening to The Morning Show, streamed by clicking the WHOW live icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence, and my guest on the phone today, Joey Long, director of the DeWitt County Museum and C.H. Moore Homestead. Joey, we've talked about this a little bit in the past. Let's dive a little more into it here for this morning. The museum is a part of a network of museums. Talk to us about this, what it's all about, and what it means to be a part of that.
Yeah, so not only are we participating in the Blue Star Museum program, but also the C.H. Moore Homestead DeWitt County Museum is a national park passport station. So as a historic site related to Abraham Lincoln and being located within that park system's Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area, we were issued an official passport cancellation stamp for the city of Clinton. And we also have our own special stamp for the museum, and for a limited time during the month of June, we also have an additional passport stamp that represents the Prairie Flyers Aviation exhibit. So if you're not familiar with the program, a great place to start would be with us. We actually have the passport books available for purchase at the museum gift shop. They're like a little travel log, and they have like little regional maps, information about parks and heritage areas across the country, and they provide a space for cancellation stamps on the pages. So a lot of people visit the museum specifically looking to get that stamp in their passport book. But like I said, if you're not familiar and you plan on doing any traveling this summer or beyond, stop by. We have the passport book, and you can start your adventure there. And I would also want to mention, speaking of adventures, that if you're looking for Lincoln, look for us. You can find us in the 2022 Looking for Lincoln Visitors Guide. That's distributed throughout the Abraham Lincoln National Heritage Area and beyond. So it's a free, informative color guide that will be available at the museum once it's published and released. I think it's supposed to come out maybe the first week of June. So you're welcome to stop by the museum and pick one up so you can plan your next Looking for Lincoln road trip. I believe the Chamber of Commerce also has those available. And we're just very proud of the connections that we have to C.H. Moore and Abraham Lincoln, and the fact that so many people of DeWitt County shared ties with Abraham Lincoln. And we're just happy to promote our county's unique Lincoln-related landmarks and sites and arts and stories and exhibits. So it's a great little publication if you're looking for a little road trip.
Sure. So make sure you check that out. Joey, I'll tell you what, I look at the clock. We've got about a minute and a half. What else you want to get to today? What else is on your mind this morning?
Well, there's a lot going on at the museum, and I would say that if anyone out there is listening and thinks that this is something they would like to become involved with, we're always looking for volunteers. So anyone interested in caring for the flower gardens and landscape, or taking on minor maintenance tasks, working the festival and food booths, volunteer docents for the aviation exhibit, things like that. If you think you would be interested in getting involved, please reach out, give us a call. We'd be happy to talk with you and would appreciate the help.
For sure. And, it's one of those things, Joey, you could probably slowly kind of dip your toe in the water and see what piques your interest at the museum. And maybe that might lead to something you find yourself passionate about and a bigger role down the road. Is that a fair assessment, you think?
Yeah, absolutely, Seth. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Joey, how does someone get a hold of you to learn more about volunteering, and how do they just learn more about the museum in general?
Well, to get a hold of me about volunteering, a phone call would be great. That number is 217-935-6066. Or to find out more about the museum, visit our website, chmorehomestead.org, or take a look at our Facebook pages, DeWitt County Museum, Prairie Flyers Aviation Exhibit, or Apple and Pork Festival.
Joey, can't wait to catch up with you next week about that Prairie Flyers Aviation Exhibit. It's always good to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Seth. Have a great day.
Have a great weekend. Joey Long, director of the DeWitt County Museum, C.H. Moore Homestead, my guest on the phone. Network news on the way on the morning show.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. A semiconductor plant, one of